Imagine a world where the concept of being late doesn't exist. There are no clocks ticking on the wall, no inbox piling up with unread emails, no boss checking your login status, and absolutely no dread of Monday morning. Today, the average human spends roughly 1/3 of their waking life dedicated to a job. We wear our busyness like a badge of honor. If we aren't working, we're studying. If we aren't studying, we're building a side hustle. We have turned existing into a performance metric. But for 99% of human history, doing absolutely nothing wasn't a sin. It was the default. For nearly 300,000 years, our ancestors woke up, looked at the horizon, and asked themselves, what is the bare minimum I need to do to survive today? And once that bare minimum was met, they stopped, they sat down, and they just existed. How did the most dominant species on Earth evolve by being incredibly lazy? And more importantly, how did we let ourselves get tricked into working ourselves to death? For decades, modern historians assumed that prehistoric life was nasty, brutish, and short. We pictured our ancestors constantly running from saber-toothed tigers, starving and shivering in dark caves. But in the late 1960s, anthropologist Marshall Solins turned this theory completely on its head. He called hunter-gatherers the original affluent society. Solins analyzed data from surviving hunter-gatherer groups, like the Kung people of the Kalahari. What he found shocked the academic world. To secure all the calories, nutrients, and shelter they needed for a healthy life, these primitive humans only worked about 15 to 20 hours a week. That is less than 3 hours a day. Once those 3 hours of light hunting or gathering were over, the workday was officially done. No one went back out to gather more berries just to get ahead of the neighboring tribe. The concept of surplus didn't exist because you couldn't carry it with you. Wealth wasn't measured by what you accumulated, but by how much free time you had. And if you think they were miserable and unhealthy, the archaeological record says otherwise. When we look at ancient bones from the pre-agricultural era, we find humans who were taller, had stronger bone structures, almost zero cavities, and virtually no signs of chronic stress-related illnesses. They were, by all physical metrics, thriving on leisure. So what does a day look like when you have 12 hours of uninterrupted free time? You wake up naturally. The sun is your alarm clock, but if you want to sleep in, you sleep in. There is no punch card machine waiting for you. The morning is entirely social. You sit by the fire, eat some dried meat from yesterday's catch, and gossip. Anthropologists note that in small-scale societies, social bonds are everything. If you are liked, you are shared with. So, jokes, storytelling, and teasing aren't time-wasting. They are your insurance policy. By mid-morning, a few members of the band wander off to gather wild tubers or track an animal. But there's no rush. If the hunt fails, you don't starve. You just try again tomorrow or eat the roots and nuts your partner collected. Work and play are deeply intertwined. When they weren't searching for food, they made things. But they didn't make them under assembly line pressure. They spent days meticulously carving bone flutes, drilling microscopic holes into seashells for jewelry, and painting breathtaking, lifelike mammoths on cave walls deep underground. They did this not because they had a hobby business on Etsy. They did it because they had time. They made art because, to an ancient human, expressing beauty was just as natural as breathing. And when the art was done, they sat. They watched the clouds. They napped. They did nothing. And they felt absolutely zero guilt about it. Then, about 10,000 years ago, we made a catastrophic mistake. We invented agriculture. We thought planting crops would make life easier. We thought it meant security. But farming is a jealous master. It required endless, brutal, repetitive labor. We had to clear land, plant seeds, pull weeds, build fences, and guard the harvest from rivals. Suddenly, populations boomed. And because there were now too many mouths to feed, we couldn't go back to hunting and gathering. We were locked in. With surplus food came cities. With cities came hierarchy. And with hierarchy came the ultimate invention of the modern world, the job. For the first time in human history, your time didn't belong to you. It belonged to a king, a lord, a factory owner, or a corporation. Today, we look back at our ancestors as primitive. We pity them because they didn't have smartphones, air conditioning, or Netflix. But we forget what we traded away to get these things. We traded our time. We traded our autonomy. We work 40 years of our lives so that we can finally, hopefully, retire and spend our days relaxing, telling stories, and doing hobbies. But our ancestors woke up every single morning, already retired. They were already living the life we are working our entire existence to earn. The next time you feel guilty for taking a nap, for staring out the window, or for spending an afternoon doing absolutely nothing, remember, you aren't being lazy. You are just being human.